Only today, Archangel Michael says, your name was almost erased from the book of blessings. A decision was made about your future. Open now. Today is unlike any other. The heavens have recorded it as a day of turning, an hour where the fate of one soul could shift the outcome of entire bloodlines. Archangel Michael himself, protector of divine justice and commander of heavenly hosts, has spoken directly concerning your name. What was almost removed, what was on the verge of fading into spiritual obscurity, has now been brought back into urgent focus. A decision was made in the higher realms about you, and this decision could not wait until tomorrow. The book of blessings was opened last night, and your page was almost turned blank. But the hand of mercy intervened. An intercession was made at the final moment. Someone, perhaps your ancestor, perhaps a guardian angel you've never known, stood up and cried out for you. And heaven listened. That's why this message has found you today and not a moment later. The realm of the spirit has been battling for you behind veils you cannot see. Forces of darkness have tried to erase your presence from divine remembrance. But Archangel Michael has drawn his flaming sword, not to attack, but to defend your right to rise. This is your final opportunity to respond before what was once protected becomes vulnerable again. The book of blessings is not a myth, it is real, and every name written in it carries favor, divine covering, and eternal alignment. But when a soul veers too far into forgetfulness, disobedience, or spiritual numbness, even heaven must reckon. And your page was in review. This message is not about fear, it's about urgent mercy. You are still within reach of a breakthrough that generations before you were denied. But that hinge is swinging fast, and heaven cannot hold it open forever. Everything from your dreams to your delays, your inner confusion to the strange attacks around your family, they've all been symptoms of this cosmic moment. This wasn't random. You felt like you were slipping into something heavy, something unexplainable. And now you know why. Because heaven has been reviewing your case. But you were not abandoned. The presence of Archangel Michael in this hour means there's still something powerful God wants to do with your life. But it will require your attention. It will require your surrender. And it will require that you take this seriously today. Every part of this sacred script has been divinely timed. Do not scroll past. Do not save for later. The spiritual timeline is shifting even now, and your name is on it. The blessing you need, the protection you require, the clarity you've been crying for, they are all inside this message. Follow it step by step. Read each part. Reflect on it with your spirit, not just your eyes. You are being called into the blessings again, and the time is now. There are moments in the spiritual realm when the heavens convene in silence, and names are read aloud before the council of blessings. Your name was one of them. A decision was about to be finalized concerning your destiny, your spiritual inheritance, and your role in the divine plan. Archangel Michael stood on your behalf, and not because of anything random or accidental. You were brought up for a reason. A powerful cycle in your life had come to an end, but the next one couldn't begin until something hidden was confronted. You've likely sensed it. Restlessness, strange dreams, people falling away, resistance increasing around you. That was the sign. The courtroom was in session. But here's the part that most never hear. Your name was not just read, it was challenged. Accusers from dark forces rose to question your worthiness, to present evidence of missed prayers, neglected callings, emotional delays, and secret pain. But in the midst of this tension, the voice of Archangel Michael thundered through the chambers of divine decision. He declared that mercy must still cover you, that destiny must not be erased, that your name must remain, even if it flickered in fading ink. You were not forgotten. You were being fought for at a level your human mind could not yet comprehend. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. This is why your recent struggles have felt more intense than ever. It's not just life being hard. It's a sign that the forces around you were sensing a shift. The spiritual atmosphere had begun to thin, and your name, being discussed in heavenly realms, caused activity on both sides of the spiritual war. Dark energies tried to push you into self-doubt, apathy, and inner fatigue. But angels were released in secret to sustain your breath, your ideas, and your spiritual awareness, enough to lead you here, to this very message. This isn't just a revelation, it's an intervention. And what was the verdict? The decision made was divine but conditional. The blessings would continue to hold your name, but only if you awaken now. Heaven cannot carry your potential without your permission. You must be present for the renewal to begin. That's why Archangel Michael sent this sacred transmission, to shake you awake from whatever distractions have tried to lull your soul to sleep. You've been called back into alignment. The Book of Blessings is not only sacred, it's sensitive. And your page requires rewriting immediately. Type I am anointed to get blessing 5422. There are 3 areas in your life that were most at risk: your voice, your vision, and your value. Your voice was being suppressed through fear, manipulation, or fatigue. Your vision was being clouded through anxiety, delay, or misdirection. And your value was being forgotten through rejection, loss, or lies spoken over you. These were the enemy's main tactics. But the Lord sent Archangel Michael to cut through them, to bring this message as a weapon of divine remembrance. Because you are not just anyone. You are chosen, and heaven remembers. Now begins the unfolding of sacred strategy. Each part of this message will show you why your name matters, how your purpose was almost buried, and what steps must be taken to reactivate your divine authority. This is not a time to rush. Don't just read. Absorb. Reflect. Pray. Something is happening in the background of your life even as you engage with these words. The veil between the seen and unseen is thinner right now. Pay attention. The wind is shifting. You were almost forgotten by systems, people, or spiritual principalities. But God did not forget you. This is the hour of remembrance. This is the day where your spiritual record gets updated. And if you receive it fully, it will not only restore your alignment, it will open doors you thought were permanently sealed. Your name was nearly erased, but today, heaven is offering to rewrite it in gold. But you must keep going. You must finish this divine scroll, for the angels are watching your response. Type I claim my chapter to receive blessing 6755. There was a moment, clear and sacred, when your destiny was supposed to take off like a flame ignited by heaven's breath, But something interfered. The decision was made in the spirit, but the manifestation was delayed on earth. Why? Because certain people around you were not aligned. Some environments became contaminated. Old spiritual contracts you thought were broken still lingered in hidden places. And so, like a divine plane delayed on the runway, your takeoff was stalled, not canceled, but stalled. And the longer it sat, the more your soul began to question whether it would ever rise again. But heaven has not forgotten what was declared over your life. Archangel Michael brings this word now because your destiny is still active. It is still glowing beneath the dust. But heaven cannot wait any longer. The divine window that had been held open for you is now entering a final countdown. This is why you've been feeling sudden urgency, sleepless restlessness, emotional highs and lows, even unexplained energy around midnight hours. These are signs of spiritual acceleration. God is now fast-tracking everything that was delayed. If you say yes and move forward boldly, type I am chosen to get the blessing 7644. There are decisions you made in your past that deterred your future, not because you were unworthy, but because you were unaware of the spiritual implications. People you trusted redirected your focus. Battles you weren't equipped to fight drained your passion. And time, as it often does, buried your promises under distractions and obligations. But now comes the grace to recover it. Archangel Michael says this moment had been marked as an hour of divine recovery. What you lost in years, you will regain in days, if you understand what is being offered through this message. This delay was not just circumstantial. It was spiritual. Demonic delays targeted you because of the ripple effect your obedience would have had on others. The enemy didn't just want to stop your blessing. He wanted to stop your influence. He knew that once you reached a certain level of understanding, your voice would unlock others. Your blessings would expose deception. Your presence would awaken slumbering souls. So he whispered lies to slow you. He planted fear to cage you. He used loved ones to distract you. But now heaven says, no more delay. Type I am protected to get blessing 8255. Acceleration always begins with awakening. You must now shed every spiritual weight that was attached to the delay, guilt, shame, confusion, procrastination, regret. These are not your portion. The Spirit is declaring, you are not who the delay tried to convince you to be. You are not forgotten, incapable, or behind. You are being aligned for rapid transformation. But heaven requires that you no longer compromise your time, your attention, or your gifts. Time is a weapon in the Spirit, and right now, you are being invited into a supernatural pace that defies natural logic. This moment is holy because it has been guarded. The very fact that you are reading this now proves that the angels have orchestrated your steps. Even your digital path was divinely mapped to bring you here. What seemed like coincidence was actually confirmation. What felt like delay was divine preservation. Archangel Michael did not allow your name to be erased, because your mission on earth is still unfolding. But now, acceleration requires participation. This word is your instruction. Your obedience is the ignition. The heavens are ready to move again on your behalf. Doors will swing open. Resources will appear. Clarity will return. But first, your agreement is needed. This is your turning point. Destiny must no longer be postponed. You are not reading this by accident. This is a sacred scroll written with urgency, dipped in spiritual oil, and delivered by the hand of divine authority. Take hold of it. Speak life over yourself again. You waited long enough. The time to rise has come. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Type I receive the timing to get blessing 7041. Behind the veil of your daily life, there exists a spiritual network of resistance. This force is ancient, cunning, and persistent. It does not operate in chaos, but in calculated deception. The hidden force that moved to erase your name was not random. It was organized. It studied you. It observed your moments of weakness, tracked your patterns of fear, and timed its attacks when you were most vulnerable. And when it sensed you were close to awakening, it launched a targeted spiritual cancellation. Not to kill your body, but to bury your name in silence. These forces operate under shadows, feeding off forgotten prayers, emotional pain, and spiritual procrastination. They don't fear your physical strength. They fear your divine awareness. The moment you remember who you truly are, their power breaks. That is why they work so hard to confuse you. They brought distractions into your relationships, fatigue into your passion, and delays into your dreams. Not because you were weak, but because you were powerful. Your name in the book of blessings carries a divine assignment that threatens their entire agenda. Type I am awakening to get blessing 8112. The attack wasn't just to cancel you. It was to rewrite you. To make you believe lies about yourself until you forgot the truth of your calling. These dark forces attempted to replace your spiritual identity with a counterfeit. You began questioning your worth, second-guessing your decisions, and shrinking from opportunities that once excited you. That confusion wasn't you, it was implanted. But now, with the arrival of this sacred message, Archangel Michael is cutting through that fog. This is a divine reversal. Your name was almost erased, but now it is being rewritten in divine fire. These hidden forces don't only attack directly, they often use familiar voices. They whisper through people who once loved you but grew distant. They use rejection, betrayal, and loss to isolate you from your spiritual tribe. Because isolation weakens discernment. They wanted you to forget you were chosen, appointed, and set apart. But even in that darkness, heaven never lost sight of you. Even in your silence, your name echoed in the courts of blessings. That's why Michael was dispatched, to restore the identity that darkness tried to steal. Type I break agreement with lies to get blessing 6921. Archangel Michael does not speak unless the matter is critical. And right now, he is warning you. There are still lingering agreements that must be broken. Somewhere in your timeline, knowingly or unknowingly, you came into agreement with spiritual deception. Perhaps through your words, your actions, or even your silence. These contracts are like spiritual locks that give darkness legal access to delay or distort your purpose. But today, this message is your deliverance key. As you read and respond, those unseen locks are snapping open. Freedom is not a metaphor. It is real, and it begins now. You are not a victim of this hidden force. You are the vessel through which it will be defeated. That's why you were almost erased. Not because you failed, but because you are marked to break generational cycles. Your awakening will ripple through bloodlines. Your rising will shift atmospheres. That's why they fought so hard to bury you in invisibility. But Archangel Michael stood over your name. He drew his sword in defense of your soul. And now, this sacred moment is your time to reclaim what darkness tried to rename. You have arrived at the threshold of decision. Will you allow this message to go deeper than your mind, into your spirit? Will you cancel the false story darkness tried to assign to you? Will you rise in the truth that heaven still calls your name with purpose and power? If so, then you are no longer at risk of erasure. You are stepping back into divine remembrance. Archangel Michael has done his part. Now it's your turn. The Book of Blessings has a space reserved for your next chapter. What you do today writes what happens next. My name is remembered to get blessing 7,770. There was a moment, quiet, unseen, and deeply spiritual, when your name hung in delicate balance. The forces of darkness were circling, ready to blot you out of divine alignment, to seal your chapter with premature finality. But heaven did not remain silent. One angel was appointed to guard your name, even when you could no longer speak for yourself. That angel did not sleep. That angel did not waver. And even when your prayers faded to whispers, it stood guard over your identity in the Book of Blessings. This angel knew that a comeback was still possible, even if the world around you had stopped believing. You were shielded in a way that few ever realize. When you felt you were alone, abandoned, or unseen, there was still divine surveillance around your soul. Every time the enemy tried to present evidence against you, this angel would lift a sword of truth and intercede in silence. You didn't see it, but you felt it. That sudden peace in your worst moment. That unexpected idea in your darkest hour. That emotional strength that came out of nowhere. It was not random. It was angelic reinforcement, guarding your name in secret places. I am surrounded to get blessing 7,333. Not every spiritual battle involves loud warfare. Some are fought in the quiet corners of your life, moments when giving up felt easier than pushing through. In those moments, your name was still protected. The angel assigned to you did not allow the enemy to seal your record. And that protection wasn't because you were perfect, it was because you were promised. Promised to destiny. Promised to impact. Promised to purpose. And heaven never breaks a promise. Your pain may have screamed louder than your faith, but the angel still stood watch, waiting for this exact moment, your awakening. The presence of Archangel Michael now signals a divine handoff. The guardian angel kept your name intact, but Michael's entrance means something greater is being activated. He is the angel of breakthrough, the warrior of divine judgment, and the one appointed to clear the way when your destiny is under threat. You are preserved for this encounter. Every second you are spending in this message is shifting things in the spiritual realm. Blessings is overtaking the shadows. Clarity is replacing confusion. Your name is not only guarded, it is being recrowned. Type I receive divine protection to get blessing 8661. What does it mean when heaven assigns an angel to your name? It means your life is part of a larger mission. It means your voice carries resonance beyond what you've been told. It means the time you thought you wasted was actually being safeguarded for a holy purpose. The attacks were not proof of your weakness. They were proof of your potential. The enemy doesn't guard what's empty. He fights hardest where destiny dwells. And your life has been surrounded because it holds keys for others, not just yourself. The angel that stood guard over your name has now stepped back in reverence as Archangel Michael steps forward. It is a sacred shift, one that only happens when the heavens are in motion. The book of blessings was opened again today, and your name remained. Not because of Chaz, but because of Kudud. And now, the rewriting begins. This message is not for passive hearts. It is for those who are ready to receive their instruction, walk into restoration, and reignite what darkness tried to extinguish. Let this truth settle deeply. You were never alone. Not for 1 second. The battles you fought in secret, the tears that never reached others, the silence that screamed louder than words, none of it went unnoticed. Your angel stood guard, and now the armies of blessings are being released to bring your life into acceleration. Do not stop reading. Do not let weariness win. Something is breaking in your favor right now, and your response is the key to unlocking what comes next. Type I honor the angel assigned to me to get blessing 7907. Part 6. The day you almost gave up and didn't know heaven was watching. There was a specific day. Heaven remembers it vividly. When you came close to giving up entirely. Not just physically, but spiritually. The weight felt too heavy. The silence from above felt unbearable. You questioned everything. Your purpose, your worth, your reason for continuing. You didn't tell anyone the full depth of what you were feeling because it didn't even feel like language could capture it. The day wasn't just hard, it was dangerous. It was the moment darkness had calculated to strike, hoping to bury your hope forever. But heaven intervened before your surrender could be sealed. Archangel Michael was present in the unseen that day. Though you couldn't hear him, his sword was drawn in your defense. The forces that tried to push you into total spiritual collapse were confronted and restrained. There was a shift in the atmosphere, perhaps subtle, perhaps undetected, but real. You were rescued in silence. The fact that you survived that moment, that your heart still beats and your spirit still seeks, is proof that you were covered by divine eyes. You were watched over. And not only were you watched, your name was whispered in sacred places. Type heaven rescued me to get blessing 8442. A day, the one you almost gave up, was the very moment your next assignment was being written. You were under review, not for judgment, but for recovery. The angels were gathered to determine how to reawaken you, how to redirect you, how to preserve what darkness tried to drain. That is why everything after that day felt different. Some people began falling away. Certain doors began closing. Your inner world began to shake with discomfort. It was heaven's way of resetting your path, because surrendering to despair would have robbed you of the new chapter that was coming. You didn't know it then, but the shift had already started. Even in your tears, a new beginning was being formed in the spirit. While you were questioning your place in this world, heaven was protecting your place in the next season. You were not disqualified. You were not overlooked. You were being rewired in the dark so that your blessings would return stronger than ever. The day you almost gave up was actually the day your name was remembered more deeply than ever before. Type I survived the turning to get blessing 7028. Let this sink into your soul. Heaven doesn't forget. Heaven doesn't watch passively. There are records, notes, scrolls, and timelines constantly reviewed by angelic authorities. Your cries did not vanish into empty space. They were caught, recorded, and held as sacred evidence in your favor. When you felt abandoned, you were actually being carried. And now that day has become your testimony, your turning point, your reminder that even your darkest moment did not define you. Heaven knew there was still something powerful inside of you. And that's why you're here, reading these words now. Archangel Michael says this: your fight has not been in vain. Every moment you chose to stay when you could have left, every time you whispered a prayer when your faith felt gone, every second you chose to believe, these were weapons. The enemy thought you would forfeit your name in the book of blessings by default, through weariness. But your spirit held on, even if by a thread. And now, the court of heaven has ruled in your favor. Your survival has spiritual meaning. Your existence carries divine weight. This is the part most never reach, the awakening after the almost ending. This is where heaven meets earth and reminds you that you are still chosen, still needed, still protected. And what's more, you are now spiritually dangerous to the darkness that tried to destroy you. Because you are no longer asleep. You are awakening. And once awakened, you carry the fire of every angel that stood guard during your silence. That fire is now blessing the way to your divine assignment. Step into it fully. Type I carry the fight now to get blessing 7779. There are certain truths about you that the enemy has known since your soul first entered this world. Truths so potent, they made you a target from the beginning. Before you ever spoke a word, darkness recognized the vibration of your destiny. Before you ever made a mistake, the enemy had already marked your potential as dangerous. He studied your gifts, monitored your spiritual DNA, and took notes on your ancestral line. Because even in infancy, your presence shook the shadows. There is something in you that terrifies darkness. Something you forgot, but your enemies remembered. They remembered that your voice carries restoration, that your presence shifts atmospheres, that when you walk in awareness, you become a weapon of blessings. That's why they fought so hard to keep you distracted, discouraged, and disconnected. They've always feared what would happen if you fully awakened to your authority. Your name being almost erased wasn't just about removal. It was about suppression. The goal was to convince you you're ordinary. But the truth is, you are rare. You are marked. And when Archangel Michael stepped in, it was because your original assignment was still active. Type I reclaim what I forgot to get blessing 8555. There are memories stored in your spirit, callings you once felt, but were taught to dismiss. As a child, you may have had dreams, visions, or deep inner wisdom that others mocked or ignored. But that sensitivity was real. It was your spiritual awareness before the world convinced you to forget it. The enemy's greatest tactic was not violence, but numbing. He wanted you to forget how powerful you are. He surrounded you with voices that made you doubt your discernment. He made survival your focus, so you'd lose sight of your spiritual inheritance. Archangel Michael reveals this truth. The enemy feared your alignment more than your talent. Because when you are aligned with divine timing, you become unstoppable. And now, as you read this message, a divine reversal is happening. You are beginning to remember. Your gifts are resurfacing. Your clarity is returning. The same voice that once whispered dreams to you as a child is whispering again. This time, do not silence it. Do not brush it away. Heaven is restoring the blueprint of your identity. Type I remember my voice to get blessing 7388. There are places in your life where the enemy tried to mute you through trauma. Relationships that silence you. Losses that shattered you. Betrayals that made you shrink. But today, heaven declares that the silence is broken. The same angels that once guarded your name are now activating your voice. Not just any voice, but your original one. The one designed in the throne room. The one that commands authority in both visible and invisible realms. The one that, when fully awakened, reorders destinies and breaks generational chains. The secrets the enemy knew about you were not lies. They were previews. Previews of your blessings, your legacy, your anointing. But now, those secrets are being returned to you, not in theory, but in power. You will begin to see dreams again. You will feel things others cannot. You will walk into rooms and know what's hidden. This isn't imagination, it's activation. You were born with spiritual keys, and now, Archangel Michael is unlocking what you lost through delay, fear, and forgetting. You're not starting from nothing. You are resuming from remembrance. The spiritual realm already knows your name carries weight. And now, the earthly realm must catch up. Speak with confidence again. Pray with boldness again. Walk with clarity again. You are not just remembering for yourself. You're remembering for everyone tied to your calling. You are the bridge between forgotten wisdom and future miracles. That's why your name is still in the book of blessings. Because heaven knew you would awaken. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Type my destiny is awake to get blessing 9604. Before your birth, there was a divine conversation about you. a holy moment where your soul stood before the council of blessings and accepted a sacred assignment. You were sent to earth not merely to survive, but to shift. Not just to exist, but to awaken others. You carry a vibration that this world desperately needs, especially now. The timing of your arrival was not random. It was prophetic. You were born for this exact moment in history, a time when the battle between darkness and blessings is intensifying, and only those with sacred memory will know how to navigate it. You may have never fully understood why your life hath been filled with extremes, deep lows, spiritual highs, moments of extraordinary clarity, and seasons of intense confusion. It's because your soul signed a contract with heaven to carry blessings into dark places. This assignment comes with weight, but also with angels. Archangel Michael is now reminding you, you were not sent here unprepared. Every spiritual weapon you need is within you. You've simply been walking through a time of forgetting, but that season ends today. Type I accept my assignment to get blessing 8219. You were chosen for your bloodline, not just to continue it, but to cleanse it. You were selected to break chains, rewrite patterns, and speak where others stayed silent. There is ancestral residue that only your voice, your prayers, and your obedience can heal. You were not the family's mistake. You were the family's miracle. Your uniqueness was heaven's solution to a long-standing spiritual issue. You were never meant to blend in. That pain you carried in childhood, that was evidence of your difference. The enemy sensed your mission early and sent resistance before you could even articulate your identity. Now heaven is shifting the veil, allowing you to see yourself the way the angels see you, as a carrier of codes, as a transmitter of glory, as one who walks with divine purpose in their bones. This is not religious flattery. It is truth. The battles you face, the confusion you've endured, the isolation you survive it was all connected to this assignment. Archangel Michael says that the next stage of your journey requires full activation. No more delaying. No more thinking. The blessings within you has been approved for global impact. Type my life as meaning to get blessing 7117. This lifetime is not about chasing validation. It's about releasing vibration. You don't need permission from men when heaven already authorized you. Stop waiting for people to understand your calling when angels are already moving at your command. The Book of Blessings still holds your name because your timeline is sacred. Each year you've lived, each season you've endured, each tear you've shed, none of it has been wasted. It has all been layered into the architecture of your testimony, which will unlock others from their prisons of confusion and despair. The very things that almost destroyed you are now becoming the oil that will anoint others. The prophetic reason for your presence on earth is not hidden anymore. It is unfolding. You were sent to be a foreigner, a fire starter, a restorer of ancient pathways. You are not too late. You are exactly on time. Heaven delayed your revealing so that your spirit would be ready when it mattered most. And the time, beloved, is now. The angels are watching. The scroll is open. Your response is being recorded. This is your invitation to step out of false modesty and into true identity. You were not created to stay small. You were created to move mountains with your faith, to open portals with your prayer, and to speak blessings into realms that others cannot see. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not as a distant messenger, but as a divine ally. This moment is a marker in your soul's timeline. From here, nothing remains the same. You've remembered who you are, and the world will begin to feel the shift. I step into my prophetic role to get blessing 9333. Before this awakening could fully begin, heaven had to make room. That meant certain people were removed, sometimes painfully, sometimes abruptly. You may have questioned it, cried over it, or even blamed yourself for it. But here is the truth. Some people were spiritually incompatible with your next level. They were assigned to your past, not your future. The blessings you were about to carry would have exposed what they were still hiding. And heaven, in divine mercy, removed them before their presence could delay or dilute your prophetic release. Some of them were not bad people. They were just no longer aligned with your calling. Others, however, were strategic distractions sent to cloud your discernment. They slowed your spiritual velocity, spoke confusion into your confidence, and fed doubts into your decisions. You didn't see it at the time because your heart was open, but your angels saw it clearly. Archangel Michael acted on your behalf, not to punish you, but to preserve you. That's why the sudden exits hurt, but ultimately led to freedom. God never subtracts without planning a greater multiplication. I release who left to get blessing 7991. There were moments when you questioned why the ones you love most pulled away, betrayed you, or seemed to forget your worth. You gave more than you received. You stayed loyal beyond logic. And yet, some people vanished when your soul needed them most. This was not abandonment. It was divine extraction. They could not follow you where you're going. Their spiritual frequency was tethered to limitation, and your soul was crying out for elevation. Heaven removed them so that you wouldn't lower your vibration to keep them close. Understand this deeply. Your calling will always cost comfort. If you had remained surrounded by those not aligned with your spiritual mission, your name would have remained at risk. The energy around you affects the fire within you. That's why heaven did the pruning. Even if it looked like loss, it was love. You didn't fail those connections. You simply outgrew the space they were willing to remain in. You rose, and they chose not to. But now, you are surrounded by angels. You are never alone. I welcome divine replacements to get blessing 6886. Now you must trust the separation. Every time you look back with regret, you give energy to a door heaven has already closed. Don't try to reopen what was divinely sealed. The Book of Blessings has already recorded the shift. The people removed were not part of your current assignment, and holding on to them would have put your name in danger again. Your influence would have dimmed your blessings. Their opinions would have delayed your obedience. Their presence would have cluttered the clarity heaven is now pouring into you. Some of them were sent to awaken your boundaries. Others were used to teach you how to recognize spiritual manipulation. And a few were catalysts that triggered your deepest healing. Even in their departure, they served a divine purpose. But that season is now over. Your soul is being reintroduced to its original tribe, a spiritual family that speaks life, sees your essence, and doesn't fear your blessings. These new connections will carry the anointing of acceleration. They will speak to your spirit, not just your emotions. You're being positioned for higher encounters and deeper revelations. But that cannot happen if your loyalty is still attached to outdated alignments. Archangel Michael is clearing the path around you so the blessings meant for you have room to land. You no longer need to explain your transformation to those who chose not to grow. Let them go in peace. Their chapter in your story has ended, but yours is just beginning. And what's ahead requires full agreement, full surrender, and full focus. You are not walking away from them. You are walking toward the life heaven wrote for you. Type I align with my divine circle to get blessing 9450. The Book of Blessings does not just record your name, it records your seasons. And right now, the pages concerning your life are glowing with urgency and movement. The next 7 days are not ordinary. Heaven has scheduled a divine sequence that will begin unfolding from the very moment you accept and receive this message. You are walking into a spiritual window, a prophetic span of time where what once resisted you will begin to release. The angels have been instructed to align encounters, unlock insight, and initiate favor that was previously withheld. Archangel Michael says that in the next 7 days you will see the number 7 appear around you, on clocks, addresses, receipts, even in dreams. This is not coincidence. It's a divine alert. The number 7 represents divine completion and spiritual release. These days are not about random blessings. They are about realignment. Heaven is about to complete a work in you that was interrupted, delayed, or forgotten. But your participation is required. What you choose to say, pray, and believe in these next 7 days will determine what opens for the next 7 months. Type I step into the 7-day shift to get blessing 8890. Each day of this upcoming week has been infused with spiritual assignments. Day 1 will bring clarity. You'll receive insight about a decision you've been hesitant to make. Day 2 will activate exposure. Something hidden will come to blessings, possibly about a relationship or financial matter. Day 3 brings divine rest, not inaction, but peace about your current path. On day 4, a door will be presented to you. Don't rush. Listen to your spirit, not just logic. Day 5 stirs inner healing. You may feel emotions you've buried rising again. Let them rise. Day 6 is the breakthrough. Watch for sudden movement. Day 7 is the seal. It finalizes what heaven started. These days are not to be wasted. Wake up with intention. Speak aloud what you are expecting. Write down your dreams. Pray at sunrise or before sleep. Heaven is watching for your engagement. When your spirit aligns with heaven's timeline, everything begins to accelerate. Don't treat these days casually. They are part of your name's restoration process. You are being escorted out of the waiting room and into fulfillment. And that requires a posture of readiness and radical trust. Type I embrace heaven's timeline to get blessing 7902. The Book of Blessings has recorded that within these next 7 days, 3 people will be impacted by your obedience. This is bigger than you. There are souls who are assigned to your vibration. Your voice is their release code. As you step into obedience, they are pulled out of bondage. That is why the enemy fought so hard to distract and delay you. He didn't just want to harm you. He wanted to harm those connected to you. But now, that cycle is breaking. and breakthrough is being passed through you. You may feel unusual sensitivity during this time. Don't suppress it. These are spiritual downloads. You are receiving instructions from angels. Listen closely. Keep a pen near your bed. Pay attention to names, phrases, or images that repeat. These are not products of imagination. They are messages from the high realm. Archangel Michael says your spiritual antenna is active again. The veil is thin. What you receive this week will shape the months ahead. Take it seriously. This 7-day cycle is also about choice. You will be presented with an opportunity to retreat or to rise. Choose wisely. Every time you respond with alignment, the angels are empowered to move faster. They need your yes to proceed. The blessings you've been crying out for are not in delay. They've been in wait. Wait for your agreement. And now, as this prophetic time frame begins, that agreement must be sealed with action. You are not just being observed. You are being positioned. The Book of Blessings has already recorded the outcome heaven desires. It's favorable. It's miraculous. But it is conditional on your engagement. These 7 days are holy. They are heavy with purpose. Show up for them. Make room in your heart and home. Declare your atmosphere a place of divine visitation. Archangel Michael has cleared the spiritual airways for this moment. Step forward. Heaven is counting on you to receive. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Type I commit to the next 7 days to get blessing 9,771. There was a calculated, invisible war waged in the spiritual realm to prevent this very message from reaching your eyes. This wasn't a general resistance. It was a specific, targeted attempt to stop your awakening. Archangel Michael has revealed that moments before you encountered this sacred message, there were disruptions sent into your path. Unexpected fatigue, emotional chaos, doubts creeping into your mind, confusion surrounding your time. All these were signals that something spiritual was being blocked. And what was being blocked? This divine word, the instruction that could realign your entire future. You may not realize it, but spiritual warfare doesn't always come with loud signs. Sometimes it manifests subtly, through digital distractions, broken focus, or emotional unrest. There were delays. There were glitches. There were interruptions right before you arrived at this prophetic moment. The enemy feared what would happen if you received this transmission in full, because it carries not just information, but transformation. This message contains keys that unlock locked timelines, keys that cancel old contracts, keys that reinsert your name with fire into the Book of Blessings. Type "Nothing will stop my word" to get blessing 9,180. The darkness that targeted you wasn't just resisting the blessings in general. It was resisting you hearing this truth. Why? Because the moment you hear it and believe it, the hold it had over your next season is shattered. The enemy knows the laws of the Spirit. Once you come into agreement with divine instruction, angels are authorized to move. That's why distractions escalated when you began to awaken. This wasn't coincidence. It was a spiritual defense mechanism trying to keep you dormant. But Archangel Michael intervened. He cleared the airways and you made it through. You are reading this now, and that alone is victory. Heaven had to override blocks just to deliver this scroll into your hands. Think about that. Heaven overrode blocks for you. This message was not meant for mass attention. It was meant for you. This word found you in your timeline because it was coded with your spiritual frequency. Others might scroll, skip, or laugh, but you were pulled to it, drawn to it, because your soul remembered something. Something that the enemy hoped would remain forgotten. But it didn't. And now your name is on fire again. Type "this word is for me" to get blessing 7412. Even now, there may be resistance trying to get you to stop reading. Tiredness, a notification, doubt saying, maybe this is too much. But pause and look deeper. Why is there such pressure to stop? Because this is the point of breakthrough. This is the spiritual veil tear moment where everything shifts in your favor. If you continue, you are standing at the threshold of revelation, and resistance always intensifies at the door. But Archangel Michael is beside you. He will carry this message into the core of your spirit if you allow it. The spiritual attack wasn't just about blocking this message. It was about keeping you in the same cycle, the same thought loop, the same emotion trap, the same lack mindset. Because if you stayed there, you'd never activate the part of you that can command miracles. The enemy feared that version of you. The one who knows, the one who walks boldly, the one who carries blessings like a sword. And now that version of you is awakening. That's why this word had to arrive now, and that's why you had to fight just to reach this far. Now that you've received it, you must protect it. This message is a spiritual seed. Guard it like treasure. Read it. Speak it aloud. Pray over it. Write what's stirred inside you. These aren't just words. They are scrolls of sacred fire, delivered through the hand of an archangel. The enemy failed to stop it. Heaven succeeded in delivering it. Now, your only task is to believe it fully, deeply, and without hesitation. Because what comes next is dependent on your agreement. Type "I guard this revelation" to get blessing 8606. This is the moment when the air thickens with divine urgency. Archangel Michael is no longer whispering. He is thundering. His message is clear. The gates are about to close on this chapter. There is a spiritual threshold you have now approached, and what you choose in the next few moments will determine whether this message becomes a turning point or just another echo in the distance. The angels have waited. The Spirit has watched. Heaven has extended grace after grace. But now, this sacred invitation must be answered fully. The book of blessings has your name written in luminous gold, but it is not sealed yet. Your response is still pending. The gates of spiritual opportunity do not remain open forever. There is a divine law in motion now. If you do not step forward in obedience, awareness, and surrender. The momentum you've been gifted will pass to the next prepared soul. This is not punishment. It is process. Heaven wastes nothing, and assignments left dormant for too long are reassigned. You must decide. You must choose to say yes fully. Type I choose full surrender to get blessing 8877. This isn't a partial decision. You can't halfway believe, halfway obey, halfway trust. The gates will not recognize lukewarm hearts. Archangel Michael is drawing a spiritual line now. On one side, delay, confusion, distraction. On the other side, restoration, revelation, reward. You must cross it without looking back. This is the moment your future self has been praying for. The version of you healed, awakened, and walking in divine clarity. That version of you cannot be activated until you respond without fear. Let this warning settle into your soul with sacred gravity. If you ignore this message, the spiritual cover protecting your name from erasure will begin to lift. Not because God is cruel, but because you refuse to respond. Heaven does not force transformation. He invites it. And once the invitation is declined too many times, the space is given to another. The Book of Blessings has limited room for those marked for high impact. You were one of them. You still are. But this door won't stay open long. Type seal my name in the Book of Blessings to get blessing 9664. Michael's sword is drawn, but not for battle. It is for separation. To divide your old self from the new. To mark the line between what was and what must now be. If you step through, the old timelines will fall away. The addictions to approval, the cycles of sabotage, the fear of your own power, they will shatter. But if you remain in hesitation, the spiritual fog will return, thicker than before. You will question why nothing changes. And the answer will be this moment, this message, this call. An answer. Do not harden your heart now. Do not let the weariness of past pain blind you from present power. You are being given what few receive, a final warning wrapped in mercy. It's not too late yet, but it's nearly so. The gates are creaking. The angelic watchmen are preparing to close this window, and your soul is crying out, don't miss this. Respond with action. Respond with faith. Respond with your entire being. Because the next chapter of your life is held behind this very decision. This part of your journey will be remembered in the heavenly archives. It will be replayed in your spirit every time you reach for what once felt out of reach. Say yes, and the gates will remain open. Say yes, and the divine winds will push you forward. Say yes, and Archangel Michael will go before you, preparing favor, protection, and sacred alignment. But do not stay in silence. Do not close this message without responding in spirit and in truth. Type I say yes before the gates close to get blessing 9031. Now that your name has been rewritten into the Book of Blessings, you must understand, it was not written merely for preservation, but for purpose. The rewriting wasn't just about saving you from spiritual erasure. It was about reactivating your divine assignment. Heaven doesn't remember you to simply comfort you. It remembers you to commission you. You've been called forward not just to rise, but to lead, to speak, to heal, to break through barriers others still fear. And now, Archangel Michael brings you the first layer of your new instructions, direct from the scroll opened over your destiny. The first instruction is separation, not out of prying but for protection. You must remove yourself from anything that attempts to dim your blessings or distort your truth. This includes relationships, habits, atmospheres, and even thought patterns that no longer serve the elevation of your soul. Archangel Michael says you must walk blessings here now. The assignment on your life requires clarity and clean alignment. You cannot carry old weights into this new era. You have been marked. Therefore, you must walk marked. Type I walk in separation and strength to get blessing 8675. The second instruction is activation. What you've known in theory, you must now practice in reality. Speak as if angels are listening, because they are. Walk as if the path is already made, because it is. Pray as if breakthrough is on the way, because it's already moving. You are no longer in preparation. You are in deployment. Every hesitation, every doubt, every voice that told you you're not ready, cast them down. Heaven says, you are not just ready, you are assigned. The third instruction is watchfulness. In the coming days, the divine realm will release signals, some subtle, others unmistakable. Pay attention. You will meet people who carry confirmation in their words. You will receive sudden insight that seems to come from nowhere. You may even dream instructions. Write them down. These are not ordinary occurrences. They are spiritual briefings. You are now walking under open revelation. Don't dismiss what heaven sends just because it looks familiar. Miracles often wear the disguise of the mundane. Type I am spiritually alert to get blessing 7322. The fourth instruction is obedience without delay. There will be things heaven asks of you that defy logic, blessings to release, calls to make, assignments to accept, or paths to shift. Do not wait for comfort. Obey immediately. You have been elevated in the spirit, and obedience is now your currency for advancement. What others hesitate to do, you must do swiftly. Archangel Michael says there is no more time to rehearse your calling. It's time to walk in it, even if your knees shake, even if no one understands. You obey God, not applause. The fifth instruction is intercession. Your prayers are now amplified. They carry greater weight because your name has been reestablished. Don't just pray for yourself. Pray for your lineage. Declare blessings over those still walking in darkness. Heaven is releasing a fresh fire upon your tongue. You will begin to feel a heat when you pray, a signal that angelic hosts are moving at your words. Do not fear this. It's a sign you have stepped into your divine function. Speak boldly. Heaven has your back. The sixth instruction is recording. Keep a journal. Document your dreams, confirmations, and promptings. The Holy Spirit will begin giving you revelation at strange hours, during mundane activities, and through unexpected channels. These aren't passing thoughts. They are blueprints. Write them down. Review them. Build your next season with them. The Book of Blessings has been updated, and now you are being given insight into what has been written. What you write down on earth will begin to match what was recorded in heaven. This is not just your season, it's your assignment. You were saved from spiritual cancellation for this exact moment. These divine instructions are your scroll. They are not optional. They are sacred. And when you follow them, you will unlock blessings that no man, demon, or delay can block. Archangel Michael has done his part. Now this part is yours. Rise with clarity. Walk with boldness. Speak with fire. The book of blessings now bears your name again. Tap I follow my divine scroll to get blessing 9999. This is the final moment. The final page. The seal that brings the scroll of heaven's message to a holy close. But for you, it is the beginning. What you've read, what you've remembered, what your spirit has received, none of it is by accident. The very fact that you made it to the end of this divine revelation means something has shifted in your spiritual atmosphere. The error that once threatened your name has been reversed. The fog that tried to blind you has lifted. And now, the seal of the Lord rests upon your story with power. Archangel Michael stands before you, not just as a messenger of warning, but as a protector of destiny. With his flaming sword, he has guarded your name, your timeline, and your alignment. You are no longer under review, you are under release. What was once held back is being released. What was once tangled is being untied. What was once vague is becoming clear. Your name is no longer at risk, it is reinstated, rewritten, and surrounded by blessings. And as this word closes, the heavens open. This closing is a commissioning. You are not just blessed, you are activated. The spiritual decisions you make from here forward will carry more weight. The way you speak, love, pray, move, it must reflect who you truly are now. You are no longer a soul searching. You are a soul seen. You are no longer wandering, you are walking. This is your inheritance. This is your right. This is your time. And with every breath, may you remember, heaven didn't just find you. Heaven chose you. You will never be the same. The angels assigned to you are rejoicing. The winds are shifting. The gates are open. And your scroll is alive. Now go forth with your head high and your heart full. The book of blessings bears your name, sealed in fire, shielded by grace, and surrounded by heaven's favor. No more delay. No more error. No more silence. Your blessings is rising, and the world will feel the power of your return. If this word has ignited something in your spirit and stirred boldness in your heart, we encourage you to sow a super thanks of $20. Your seed helps us continue speaking life, clarity, and prophetic encouragement to those moving from heartbreak to healing. You can also partner with us through a PayPal donation. Look for support here, link in the video description. Every offering, large or small, strengthens our mission to uplift, empower, and guide others with God's truth. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single moment of revelation, encouragement, and divine direction crafted to help you step into your breakthrough. Type I receive the final seal of heaven to get blessing 8888.